Hey, so take a phone. Nothing. Nothing happened, eh? Does it work? Yeah, turn your. Oi, Leanne, get your phone off. Is she not the cutest kid you've ever seen? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Katrina, and I am Eunice's youngest daughter, the baby of the family. On behalf of all of us, thank you for coming. And we hope you can stick around afterwards, have a cup of tea and some more conversation after we've been through the service. I want to really acknowledge the people who are here on live stream. Thank you for the randoms that care, that said, can we have the link and look into Mum's life? That's very cool. Mum's got some real precious people living afar. My brother Glenn's daughter Donna is in Melbourne. Vicky and her children and grandchildren, so Mum's great-grandchildren, are in New South Wales. Fiona's daughter Kylie and her kids are up in America. How crazy is that? Having a cool time, actually, in America. My nephew Ryan is up north. What is that? Nephew? Grandson Ryan is up north. Grandson Morgan is down south. Julia's here with Ryan's kids. Thank you for coming. And my baby Lee is over in Spain listening in with Alex and Max. So in thinking about all of those people, we also thought about the people who aren't here, and Dad's death feels like really recent. It's 8 years ago that Dad passed. The loss of our beautiful sister Fiona and our brother Wayne, not here with us today. Yeah, Wayne's on an adventure, if anyone's wondering. So we're here today, all of us, to remember and celebrate the life of Eunice Ross, known as Mum, Grandma, the G. Some of our friends still call her Mrs. Ross, which is random. She went to heaven a week ago at the age of 93. It's a long time. So her service won't be real short. She's been alive so long. We're going to have a hymn because that's what she wanted. We're going to have some readings and a chance to hear about her life through her eulogy and some tributes. If anyone's got a fact check, we would appreciate it. Like if we say something that's not true and you know better as cousins and nephews and whatever, yell it out, let us know that we've got it wrong. So yeah, lucky me. Often when I went round to Chum's, Mum would be singing. She would have YouTube on, the Glenn Miller Band playing, or all sorts of things. She would sing in the car when we were going to her various social appointments or health-related appointments over the years. I've been to Andre Roux with her lots of times. She knew all the words, all the songs, and she didn't care that I sat and just drank champagne through the whole thing. I was like, is she counting? Because I probably should have. I've thought that a couple of times when I got in the car. Anyway, so Sally Mae has had lots of conversations with Mum over the last little while from church services that Mum's been going to at Wanara, and a song that she enjoyed very recently was All Things Bright and Beautiful. So technology's clever, and some young kids are going to sing so that you guys don't all have to. But if you guys all could, how cool would we be? So, yeah. This is All Things Bright and Beautiful, which is a song that she's said she enjoys. Yeah. I will sit down. We need to stand.
All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. All things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all. Each little flower that opens, each little bird that sings, He made their glowing colors, He made their tiny wings. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. All things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all. The purple-headed mountain, the river running by, the sunset and the morning that brightens up the sky. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. All things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all. The cold wind in the winter, the pleasant summer sun, the ripe fruits in the garden, He made them every one. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. All things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all.
Find out why.
Yeah, or Sally Mae's. Me? Yeah. Okay.
So I got pretty cocky and thought I didn't need notes. Bugger. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my mum, the eulogy part. Mum was born in Wellington, 28th of December 1932. She was born in Wellington, but she lived in Upper Hutt with her brother Ron and her sister Betty, and her dad Toby, and her mum Beatrice May. And why I say Beatrice May is I think you guys knew that we had a Eunice May, and Eunice May had 6 kids, and one of her girls she called Fiona May, and Fiona May called one of her kids Sally May, and just because they felt like it, my brother called his daughter Rachel May, and then Denise called her daughter Gwen May, and then to top it off, Ryan, Sally Mae's brother, fact check, brother called her Eater May. Oh, sorry, we actually, and this is what it's about. We want you to fact check. So, Beth and me. So, anytime call out. So, star of the show, late entrance. Now I've forgotten. So, Mum lived all her childhood in Upper Hutt. She went to school in Upper Hutt, but she ended up going to Hutt Valley College, and she enjoyed apparently tennis, netball, swimming, all sorts of bits and pieces as young girls do. And she was excellent at shorthand writing, remember that we don't even need, and typing. And she had exceptional organisation skills, as we all know, and she wrote her lists and she was very thorough. And that's probably why she ended up as the president of League of Mothers. And I think she was the treasurer of Rural Women's. She's quite a talent. Somewhere along the line, she met Dad. They did a lot of dancing together. My mum and Dad could waltz like you wouldn't believe. They would win Stars in Your Eyes. Well, no, it's not Stars in Your Eyes, is it? They wouldn't win Stars in Your Eyes. Dancing with the Stars. So Mum's first job was in Wellington. She worked for a European car company. Now Glenn can fill you in on all the details. She had a bit of a love for European cars, and that's why I think she was thrilled when Dad bought the Rover, because she loved driving that. And these people were very well off, this European car company, and the family, they were like Lady and Sir, they donated a rose garden just down the road from Mum's work, and that possibly might have sparked Mum's love of roses. And in the slideshow, you'll see Glenn and Mum at that particular rose garden. And Mum went on to marry Dad at 21, which is pretty young. And she went and lived, so Glenn tells me, 217 Tenakori Road, where Wayne... Glenn, Mum used to do that all the time. Where Glenn was born, he wasn't born in 217 Tenakori Road. He was born in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, I believe. Yeah. So then that's child number one. So then with Denise and Wayne, they moved to Lower Hutt, and then eventually getting to Upper Hutt, which was Thackeray Street, which was Fiona and me. So there's your 5 kids at Thackeray Street. Mum and Dad bought a section up at Tendon Grove, Sunnyview. They were the first people to buy a section in the middle of nowhere. This is at the bottom of the Rimatakas, Akataroa, Brownell, Timarua, and it was very, very remote. So Mum lived up there. I think there wasn't much else happening up there, eh? And she had a beautiful, we had a beautiful front lawn, and we had 3 triangle rose gardens, and they were amazing. But when you're a kid, you don't fully appreciate this stuff. But what we did realise quite young is that Mum had picked this spot, and you could see, and Leanne's perfect for this. You love looking at the view. You send us views. So, Mum, the view of the Hutt Valley was amazing, and the sunsets were incredible. So we learnt at a very early age to love the sunsets and to love the views. So we've missed out Katrina, but does it really? Actually, can I say this? Mum bought, so Katrina was about 5 and she arrived home at Tendon Grove. She's the only child that her whole life, the the family home was Tendon Grove for Katrina. And wasn't part of my eulogy, but Mum put Katrina on the edge of the bed, wrapped up in, you know how they used to wrap them up? How they used to... and Mum said, there's a little surprise down in the bedroom. And I went down there. And I came back and I said, can you take her back? And Fiona actually said, no, Mum, I'll look after her. So what do you do? Anyway, so Tendon Grove was amazing. And out the back of Tendon Grove, we had a little, it was a farmlet. Yeah, it belonged to Mrs. Fuller and Mr. Woodward. And they had heaps of chickens and roosters. So we would wake in the morning quite early to roosters. I loved it. I loved listening to the roosters. Anyway, Mum would buy her eggs off Mrs. Fuller. And that was sort of when I started to realise how much Mum loved animals, and she loved cats. So we'd always have a cat. So how we got our cat is Dad would come home at lunchtime, which is an old-fashioned thing, but Dad drove home at lunchtime and we had our lunch at 12 o'clock. And if Mum wanted the car, she'd take Dad back to the office and then we'd pick Dad up at 5 o'clock. If Mum wanted the car, what we usually used to do was go around and see Grandma, and there'd be Ricky and Leanne, and there'd be Grandma and Granddad, and there was always be knitting, and we'd always decide what knitting patterns had to be, who was going to wear what, and what was going to wear what at school. But Grandma always had a cat, and in those days you never got your cat fixed because it was, why would you spend money getting your cat fixed? So she always had kittens. So that's where we got a kitten from. So that's why Mum always had a cat, and she'd always have tomcats, and they got beaten the snot out of, and they would disappear for days, and they'd come home with things hanging off them and abscesses and that, or they wouldn't come home at all. And if they didn't come home at all, we knew Grandma would supply another kitten. But about our teenage years, Dad bought a Statesman. That was our college years. So Mum particularly liked to take Dad to work in the afternoons because she thrashed that Statesman. It was a V8 and she would drag off anyone she could, and she did, at the lights. And one of her favourite sayings was, "Vroom!" Funny old Mum. So that's all of us living there at Tendon Grove. We all got a bit older, and Denise went overseas, and everyone started growing up and having children. So Mum and Dad had the pleasure of so many grandkids. We had Fiona's down south. There was Sally Mae, Ryan, Morgan, Kylie. And up north on the North Island, we had James and Catherine, Nico and Lee and Rachel. So it was a full-on time, but they were only little. And at that time, we still had the farm. So the kids, Mum and Dad, everyone used to spend time at the farm. And we had Twinkle over there. We had Twinkle when I was at Tendon Grove anyway. And Maria had her horse there. Bugs had her horse there. It was a pretty big deal. And Mum and Dad used to love spending the weekend looking after all the animals. And we had all sorts, deer, pig, ducks, you name it. Anyway, we had our 6 kids, we had our grandkids, and Mum and Dad decided to downsize. Now, you're wondering what happened to the cats. Well, Bruce had given me a kitten called Sooty, and Mum claimed it. So the only people living at home was Sooty, Mum and Dad. So Sooty, Mum and Dad moved to Ventura Ave. It was on corner section. They built a new garden. They did a big thing with dahlias. I think Mum was still involved with the garden club, all sorts of stuff, and all the grandkids. And then Sooty got super old. He was about 19. That was a big deal. It was a really big deal, the cats. And sort of went to cat heaven. So Mum got her eye out for another cat, and she saw one at the neighbours and started feeding it. And the neighbour said, I think you're feeding my cat. And she told us, she said, the neighbour said, feeding her cat, but I like it. So she kept feeding it, and she called the cat Mr. Chips, which was strange because we're pretty sure it was a girl. So downsizing again, I'm going longer than I expected. Downsizing again. Mr. Chips' mum and dad went over to Ruapehu Street. So they went to the Kapiti coast. Mum and dad wanted to be close to the beach. In reality, they wanted to be close to Nico and Lee. Fact check. They wanted to be out of the hut. So so Nico, that's a good one. Nico and Lee got quite a good time with Mum and Dad. They were pretty spoiled. But a babysitter for Katrina and Jed. They had Mr. Chips there, and then they moved to Calendar Terrace, took Mr. Chips there. That was when they were in their 80s. So they were starting to, get a bit older. Mum started to get home help, and surprise, surprise, we had one more grandkid. So at Calendar Terrace, still one more to go. We got our little princess. We got Gwen, which we loved to bits. We loved them all. So I think they enjoyed the Calendar Terrace, eh? But unfortunately, Mr. Chips didn't do too. That was the end of, Mr. Chips. And Mum loved her cats. You've got no idea how. I mean, she taught me that you never give a cat cold milk. You always heat it. Well, no. Fact check. Do not give your cats milk. So nearing, they were in their 80s and the last final downsize. We went to Chums, which worked out really good because my sister was in the front flat and Mum and Dad were in the back flat, so that my sister could look after and keep a close eye on Mum and Dad. But the reality of it was Dad wasn't too good. So as it panned out, Mum spent the last 8 years or so of her life by herself at Chums Road. But the people who lived in Chums Road before Mum had a cat. And they said to Mum, if you feed this cat, it will probably hang around. And the cat's name's Toby. And there was no way Mum was going to call the cat Toby. So that was Tiger. And Tiger and Mum hung out. And honestly, that cat gave Mum so much pleasure, as well as her rose garden and all the other things. Oh, I forgot, because she was involved in, you could go on forever, nutrimedics. Anyway, So this cat, the main concern was we were worried who would look after the cat once Mum passed away. And it was one of Mum's biggest worries was the cat. But the cat didn't last as long as Mum. And in a way, that brought Mum peace in a way, because she was quite anxious that the cat would be, she did not want that cat to go, but she was. And then her final little step, which none of us really wanted, but was Mum's choice. And as she was packing up to leave, she said, don't forget, Biddy's getting the tequila sunrise. Don't forget. So one of our last little things that we want to do in closing with our mum is to make, because don't dig it up now. Don't dig it up. Dig it up now, eh? Dig it up in winter. So that will probably be one of the last little things we'll be doing. is digging up Mum's rose for a very special person. So I encourage you all to get up later on, whenever, eh? Yeah. But you will be fact checked. But don't let that put you off.
This is Fiona's biggest baby, and she's going to read the psalm that Mum asked her to.
A few years ago now, I asked Grandma what her favourite psalm was, and she said it was Psalm 23. I think a big part of that probably was she was probably raised to know it off by heart, possibly even singing it as a child. So it was one of those things she could recall in the middle of the night. And it's always good to have good things hidden in your heart that you can recall in the middle of the night, because it can be quite dark some nights when you're all on your own. So I'm really glad that Grandma had, she had the Lord to call on first and foremost, but all those sort of truths hidden in her heart that she could think on and dwell on in the night watches. So Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Thank you.
Sup? I'm no good at this sort of business, so my lovely sister has prepared something for me and for Grandma. So we'll just tuck into it. How am I expected to sum up my grandma in just one little speech? I do not know. I want to express my endless gratitude for the time we had with her, the laughs we shared, and how I got to witness her love for life. She found joy in all the simple things, from every cup of tea to going to the Saturday market to a trip to Farmers or an ice cream on the beach. Speaking of that, a couple of years ago when I came home for a visit, Grandma and I went to the beach and sat in the car, Mum's car. She had a couple of panini. It was a standard sort of outing for us. Appreciate the food, appreciate the view, and the goings on at the beach. Discuss the weather, and Grandma told me a few tales from back in the day. Until we went to drive off the beach, and I discovered I'd driven onto a massive log, and the car was stuck on it. While I freaked out in every way, Grandma just sat there calmly and assured me that it would be fine. Maybe go and ask some people for a push. And exclaimed quietly a couple of times at my dodgy attempts to fix the situation. I felt no judgment, no anger, and only a little bit of worry. I'm not even sure how we got off the log, but we did, and we drove away. We won't tell anyone about this, she said, and we laughed and laughed and laughed. So here I am telling everyone about this, because so Grandma and me had a great example of how lucky I feel to have times like that with her, and thank goodness that it was her with me and no one else. I have so many memories of sharing treats together, much to my mother's horror. I always think of Grandma when I have a toffee pop, a malt biscuit with plenty of butter, fudge, pavlova, or a cheese scone. Grandma passed on her love of flowers to many of us in the family. She was the best person to appreciate the gardens and bouquets with, and she passed that appreciation on to my son Max. One of his first words was flower. I'm so stoked that Grandma got to meet Max, and I actually recorded telling her that I was pregnant. I'm so glad I did, because it's just the best reaction. It's very special to be able to listen to her excitement and joy. I was always wondering, how did you have 6 kids? And now having my own little one, I'm wondering even more. I will miss her so very much, but I will go back to my many memories with her for the rest of my life, and my heart will be so happy and grateful. I'll leave with a poem from Robert Louis Stevenson that Grandma had kept in one of her photo albums. The man is a success who has lived well, laughed often, and loved much, who has gained the respect of intelligent men and the love of children, who has filled his niche and accomplished his task, who leaves the world a better than he found it, whether by an improved plant, a perfect poem, or a rescued soul, who never lacked appreciation of earth's beauty or failed to express it, who looked for the best in others and gave the best from themselves. Cheers.
I mean, I'm just here because Mum wanted me to start this off. I'm the youngest grandkid, which is really funny because the great grandkid started about 8 months later with Sally Mae's oldest. So I am quite literally the baby and the oldest at the same time. Grandma is the only grandparent that I ever really had a relationship with. I'm not crying. That's not happening. My granddad on my dad's side died before I was born. My grandma on that side died when I was about 7, and I don't really remember granddad. However, when I was a kid, I do have the memories of Grandma coming down to visit, and with the full sincerity of 4-year-old me, trying to feed her the mud pies that I would make with the mystery concoctions of the garden, which didn't really change much because I do still make mystery concoctions. They are just edible now, and I'm not trying to poison anyone. The other main memory that I have with her is when I was decorating for her 90th. I did most of the organising for that, the decorations, I mean. I made 16 metres worth of bunting in her favourite colours, and I remember the joy that she had when she saw that. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Denise, and I'm Eunice's oldest daughter. And I'm glad I've got the support of my family because I really wanted to talk about Mum. After Dad passed away and Mum was in Chums, I made a big effort to come up and see Mum because I loved Mum, and it was really nice to stay with her. And she enjoyed planning my visits and what we would do. And we'd always go to the movies. We'd always go to Mitre 10, and we'd always go out to coffees. And there's so many memories from all of that I don't know which ones to talk about, but I'll start with one that made me happy. We went to a movie called Daffodils, and it was a New Zealand music, all songs, but it was a silly story, but the music was really good. And Mum and I, because we're the only ones there, got up and danced up the front to the music, her with her walker and me. And we had a ball. And Mum said, I've never done that before. And she really loved it. Yes, the roses, she would teach me all the names of the roses. She always going on about Sexy Rexy. And I always forgot which one was Sexy Rexy. So she'd always show me Sexy Rexy and Tequila Sunrise and some other names that I've forgotten. But every visit, here's Sexy Rexy, here's Tequila Sunrise. And we used to go to Mitre 10, and Mum used to save the plants. We'd go to the sales table, and there was these straggly looking things that I didn't recognise. And she said, we'll save that one, we'll save that one, and that one. And I'm going, really? And we'd get back, and she'd pluck bits off them and break them up and put some into little things on the windowsill. And others, Denise, pot this, pot that, do the other, and amazing. So she loves saving plants. Rugby, she loved rugby. She loved Kerry and his rugby. Wales, yes, and she loved Wales. You can talk about Wales later.
Thank you.
You know who she loved? Bowden Barrett. Isn't he gorgeous, she'd say. And if the rugby was on, when I was there, it was, Denise, do not talk. I don't like you talking during the rugby. It annoys me. Just don't talk. So I learned to go, yeah, I love my mum. and we had wonderful times. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah, just talking about the rugby, Eunice had a huge influence on me. I was quite surprised because I don't know if you realise, but she was very analytical of the rugby, and it's something that I learned, and it's actually something that I use today, especially when I'm watching netball. And I'd just like to explain. This is going back to 1983. Okay, so the scene, Eden Park. It was Saturday, the 16th of July, 1983. Okay. Final test, ABs versus British Lions. This was in 1983. So Denise and I were just friends then. we still friends. We still friends now. But anyway, 2 weeks after the game, she took me down to Upper Hut to meet the whānau, to meet the sisters and everybody. And so we were there, and I was a bit nervous. Anyway, the first 5 minutes, Eunice comes up to me and she says, "Oh, you were Welsh, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." She said, she said, "That game, did you see it?" "Oh, yeah." She said, "Oh, that Welshman that came on, Robert Ackerman." Like, she knew him. And she was, I just said, no, she used to analyze everything. She said, "Oh, hasn't he got a lovely pair of legs?" So I said, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then she went on about the All Blacks. I don't remember, Terry Wright, the winger, he was a really, very, very thin, but gosh, could he score tries. And she said to me, "Oh, that Terry Wright, he scores all these tries, but if he had a bit more meat in his bum, he'd be much better." So the thing is, though, so the way she used to analyze the games, I've used that now. So especially when I'm watching the netball, so I just look at things and analyze things in a completely different way. It's great. And then the mention was one thing about Eunice. You see all the flowers here. She loved her garden. And I had the opportunity or sort of the experience of helping her in the garden. Now, the things with Eunice, it was one thing I really liked is that Eunice knew what she wanted, and she would tell you what she wanted done. So I thought, make things really easy. So off I go in the garden. Short while later, she come up and she said, "Oh, Kerry, you've done a really good job, but that's not what I told you what to do." So I had to undo what I did to do what she wanted me to do. The funny thing is, I just realized Denise is exactly the same. I'm sure it's in the genetics. It must be. And I wonder if the girls are the same, because quite often Denise says, "Oh, Kerry, go off and do this." So I go off and do it, whatever. And she'd come up to me and say, "No, Kerry, I asked you to do that, but it's not what I told you." So it must be in the genetics. Look, Eunice was a lovely person, and with my with the passing of my mother and father, you tend to think, what is grief? And I think, grief, I was reading somewhere, and it quite simple. It said, grief is the price you pay for love. And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Benny, do you want to pop up and talk too, please?
After all that.
Thank you.
Hi, for those who don't know me, my name's Biddy. I've been lucky enough to have known Eunice for about 25 years. And so first of all, thank you, family, for asking me. It's an absolute privilege to speak. it goes back to about 2000 when she came into the salon one day and introduced herself and said she needed a perm. And I looked at this hair and thought, I don't think I want to perm it. So Kerry, having explained how Eunice knew what she wanted, and I not knowing her then, didn't realise probably just how shocked she was when I said, well, I can perm it, but I can't perm it yet because obviously it needs some treatments to get a successful perm. It had been grossly over permed on perm on perm. So that was our introduction to meeting Eunice and the start of a 25-year relationship on a very regular basis because she loved having her hair done as often as she could. And yeah, so that's where it all started back about 2000. And lots of laughs and lots of interesting conversations. I guess I was probably the daughter that wasn't a daughter, if you know what I mean. And so there were things she could say to me that I wouldn't get round the family. And I know about most of you. So look out. Having come from, one thing in common might be that I'm one of 11 and number 9 in the 11. And so when you come from big families, I think it's slightly different to being a single child or just having 2 in a family. It's very different. So that's how the relationship started, and I eventually did get round to perming her hair, and in the latter months had to stop doing that to explain to her that it wasn't worth perming, which she didn't take lightly to initially because she wanted that perm. And so things we had in common were gardening, as you all mentioned, and we were always striking each other's plants, and sharing cuttings were a huge part of the relationship and our gardening friendship. She loved adventures and shared her books with us and my partner as well, and had similar tastes in what books they enjoyed, which was lovely, really. And one movie that she absolutely adored going to was, of course, Andre Rouet, which she was lucky enough to get to up until probably a couple of years ago when he put on a show, which was also really enjoyed by her. She loved his music. Talking of which, I must explain, one day she came home for a hairdo. She'd come up in a taxi, and I'd usually take her home, or the other way round. And in our garage, we had a karaoke set up, and she decided it was time to sing. And I was busy looking for this video, which I didn't actually find, but I know I've got it somewhere, of her singing on the karaoke. Now, that would only be about 3 or 4 years ago. And she thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. So there were lots of things that we had in common, and I guess that's what gave us a really strong relationship. We both lost children, daughters, and so we shared many a conversation over grief and the pain that you share when you do lose a child. And on the day of her 90th, or on the fortnight before her 90th, I was lucky enough to take her shopping. So off to a local dress shop, and it was a big day out, and got her set up in this rather large changing room, and which gave her plenty of room with a walker and all this clothing. And believe it or not, she tried on 9 garments. And she wasn't going home without something. And eventually she did, and 3 dresses later on her arm, we left the dress shop, and she was very happy. And so it's been a wonderful 25 years. And she was an amazing woman who had so much guts and a very strong woman. And I guess that's what got her through all her ups and downs and her happy times, and made her the woman she was. Thank you.
What are you going to say, Phoebes? Into the microphone.
I I love my grandma and I miss her.
Perfect.
Does anyone else want to say anything? You're more than welcome. Of course, we love to hear about our mum.
So my name's Leanne, and Katrina and Carolyn obviously are my cousins, and I'd like. Oh, sorry, Glenn. He's my cousin, and Denise. Anyway, we're related. I don't have a lot of memories of Auntie Eunice, but I do have something to say that the girls haven't said or the boys haven't said. I'm the favourite.
Someone had to be.
Yeah, somebody had to take that role, so I have taken that role of being Auntie Eunice's favourite niece. Sorry? I did. I got it. I was first in, first served. I was very fortunate to have Auntie Eunice in my life. She was an amazing woman. Her house at Dawn Grove was amazing. I remember running down the hallway with hundreds of bedrooms at that stage, but there was only like 4. The gardens, I do remember the gardens and how Auntie Eunice was so very proud of her gardens. I have just recently lost my mum. Thanks, Auntie Eunice. She waited 8 months and 2 days before my mum died. To die. Thank you.
She wasn't happy about that. She wasn't happy about her little sister.
I wasn't happy either. I wasn't happy that her big sister died. I was lucky enough to actually see Auntie Eunice a week before she passed away. She did have a cough. She made me ring Katrina. Katrina, your mother wants some soothies. Don't get her strepsils. She's allergic to them. Katrina goes, oh, well, I don't know if I can get them to her today. It'll be a quick visit if I do. Did you get them to her?
I got to her.
Then I get a message back on the Facebook Messenger. She's allergic to soothies. I said, no, she's not. She's allergic to strepsils. So, but she was quite bright, quite happy. For those who travelled far, I know there's been a few. Thanks for coming. I've just got a couple of things to say. Rest well, Auntie Eunice. You made life better. And thank you for being part of my life. You made me feel as though I was wanted by you. Fiona and myself took a trip to Fiji with my grandma. Auntie Eunice wasn't there to see us off on the plane. I can't remember if she was. I know that we've got photos at home. But thank you so much, Auntie Eunice, for being a part of my life. I'm going to miss you, and you could have just stayed a bit longer. Thank you.
Yes, well, I haven't prepared anything, but as a son-in-law, I thought I'd better say a few words to honour Eunice. My first experiences in the Ross's house was over 50 years ago. Started paying visits there with friends. Fiona became quite an interest in me, and I ended up marrying her, obviously. But Eunice was lovely. She was lovely to me. She was lovely to anyone that turned up in that house. She was an amazing hostess. And what always stands out in my mind was the way she presented herself. She was always immaculate. She was an amazing woman, and she had a really warm heart. I remember having meals there. Boy, she could cook. It was amazing. It was good food. She fed us well. And I must have been keen on Fiona, because I remember, I think, to try and get a bit of attention, at one point, Beatrice May, her grandmother, and Eunice had decided to go to The Sound of Music, the film. And Fiona went, and I thought, oh, well, I better go too. My goodness. It was not my thing, but, you know, I think I might have got a few brownie points out of that. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of good memories there. I remember her in the old Pink Statesman.
She did Blue State.
Yes, we used to call her Lady Ross in that. She's a bit of a wave, not quite dignified in it. And, you know, eventually Fiona and I were married, and we moved south and brought up a family. Eunice would visit. And in the early times, yeah, she's quite a determined lady. Me and her butted heads a few times, but we came to an understanding. It was good. And she was a great grandmother to my kids. She was lovely. And she produced an amazing daughter in Fiona, and the other kids, the other children in the Ross. I'm not singling out Fiona. I've been blessed to be part of the Ross family, and I still am, you know. Fiona's been gone for over 20 years now, and it'll always be with me. My children are. They've got Ross blood in them, and it's an honour. So yes, I want to thank you, Eunice, for your goodness and your kindness and the wonderful family that you produced. Thanks, guys. Bless you.
I'm Sandra. I'm the second favourite. I'm fact checking you here because I was born before you. Doesn't matter. It does. I was the first niece. Okay. No, I just want to say that I have some wonderful, wonderful memories of Auntie Eunice. She was one of those women you could never find a bad thing to say about her. I think she was the epitome of an auntie, a grandmother. And I know my mother, because Auntie Eunice's brother was my father, Ron. I know my mother Miriam, was definitely in awe of Auntie Eunice. And she's kept me informed of all the cousins' goings on. Mum did, yeah. I knew what all of you were doing and all of your grandchildren. And yeah, she just loved Auntie Eunice, I know she did. But going back to the birthdays, for as long as I've known Auntie Betty and Auntie Eunice was so crafty, not in the crafty type, but they were so arty. And their speciality was cards. And there was never a year went by of my life that I didn't get a birthday card from both of them. Wow. And they used to write the most beautiful messages in them, absolutely beautiful. And I could never remember, unfortunately, Auntie Eunice's birthday because she's born in December. And I had 10 people with birthdays in December. My dad was born on the 23rd of November, but I always got him and Eunice mixed up. I always thought Eunice was on the 23rd and Dad. Anyway, being right on Christmas as well, it was very hard to. And I always sent Auntie Eunice a birthday card so that she got it on the 23rd of December. So when I went to her 90th birthday party, I said to her, Auntie Eunice, you never, and I found out her birthday was the 28th. I said, you never corrected me. She said, but you got it right today. So that was all right. Going back to the December thing, Glenn and I were talking on the way in here. Mum, Auntie Betty and Auntie Eunice were all sister-in-laws, obviously. And Auntie Eunice started the ball rolling with Glenn. Probably 9 months later, Mum had me. 11 months after that, one of the boys would have been Lance. So these three sister-in-laws were in competition for how many years? Until the last one was born. They went 1 for 1. So there's 3 of us born in 1955. There's how many? 54. How many in 53? 54? No, 53. But until they'd completed their families, it was pretty much 1 for 1. So hence, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it was quite funny. It's quite the joke of the December babies. And yeah, so I just want to say my heart goes out to you girls, cousins, friends, and like Auntie Eunice and the other lady that spoke, I've lost a child too. So, yeah, and yeah, so it's nice to be here with you all. Yeah, we'll take care.
Thank you, Sandra.
Oh, I forgot about, sorry. Denise, Auntie Eunice must have got her love off her father, Toby, because he gave me a kitten for my 5th birthday. So I went, Mum goes, what the heck? What are we going to do with the kitten? So I went to my first day of school and I had to leave my kitten behind. But when I got home, unfortunately, my sister decided she didn't want this kitten in the house, so she put it in the washing machine. That was Susan.
That is important.
Good one.
Wow. My name's Rick, and I do have the pleasure of saying I am the youngest nephew of Auntie Eunice. I'm still the favourite. Sorry? I'm only the youngest by a month because cousin Andrew was born on the 2nd of May and I was born on the 31st of May. I'm going to be short, and I'm sorry. Memories of Auntie Eunice and the family. Dawn Grove. We used to go up there. I'm not quite sure why, but we'd go up to visit, or I'd get dropped off because Mum and Dad were going out or whatever. And I always felt that I was always in trouble. Auntie Eunice always seemed to growl at me. Or it kind of felt like that. I went into Glenn's room one day and Auntie Eunice growled. And I'm only a little fella. So I have those sort of memories of Auntie Eunice growling at me. Auntie Eunice at Grandma and Granddad's place, at her mum and dad's place. And, yep, I got growled at there. But mention strong, Auntie Eunice strong. She got that from her mum. Strength. And all of Auntie Eunice's sister and brother, strong. Got that from Grandma. Grandma, 4 foot nothing if you were lucky. And she would take anybody on. Uncle Ian, Dad, and anybody else, she'd take them on, not scared. Later on in life, Aunt Eunice had and her family grew up, and all things went bright and wonderful. The loss of her daughter Fiona, wonderful family that Fiona left behind. Loss of Uncle Ian. And in my heart, as my sister said, in my heart, my Aunt Eunice was part of my life. My cousins, part of my life. My cousins, part of my life. To everybody, I do genealogy. To everybody, please pass on as much as you can about your family to those that come after you. Because we stand here today and we go, I remember. Who wants to live forever? But I remember, and let everybody else that comes after you have those memories. Because if they go, you can't ever get them back.
Hello, I'm Derek. I'm again a cousin. Didn't really have a lot to do with Auntie Eunice early on. I do remember going up to Dawn Grove quite a bit. Lately, when I was down in Christchurch, I started reading the editorials by Joe Bennett, who is a very good editor or a very good columnist who writes all these stories, and he's a very clever way with words. And I was speaking to Auntie Eunice when I was at Ohakia, and I used to come down and I mentioned something about Joe Bennett or something, because she always used to enjoy words and the ability to be able to speak well, with good vocabulary and and so I said, well, I like Joe Bennett too. I said, he's a really good writer, and I wish I could visualise, because you can visualise where and what he's doing by the words that he says. Long story short, I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll cut the editorials out of the paper on a Wednesday and I'll send them to you. So I used to cut them out when I'm at the museum down in Christchurch. I used to cut them out every Wednesday, and I'd save up about a dozen or so. So it's quite a long time. I'd send them off to her, and she'd love them. She'd text or she'd do something and say, oh, thanks, Derek. That's really kind of you. That's good. And then one day I thought, well, I'll get hold of Joe Bennett. So I got hold of him and I asked him if he would send me a book. Could I buy a book of his? It's for my auntie. She loves your work. So he said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll write in it and I'll send it off to her. So he did. And I thought that was absolutely splendid. I think she enjoyed them. I hope she did. Good memories of her were the same thing. We used to go, my wife and I used to go and visit her when we were at Ohakia on our way down to see Mum and Dad, or we'd come up and we'd go and see them with Mum. Great times. Yeah. Lovely family, lovely people. I'm glad to be your cousin. We see a lot of Denise down in Christchurch, and Gwen, well, not much of Gwen. And of course of Kerry. And we're so sorry that she's passed away as well. It's an end of an era.
We are the old generation now.
So thank you for the pleasure. Thank you for a good mum. Thanks.
thank yous. You got some words, Mr. Uncle Graham? I won't stop you. We. I'm going to put these in order though.
They were actually blank when I was looking at them.
Well, that's pretty blank.
They think that Malcolm must be the youngest nephew
Oh, really?
on the Ross side. You know.
On the Ross side.
That's quite possibly true.
Fine, thank you.
That actually counts.
It
does.
Doesn't mean I have to say something.
Yes.
Go for it.
Well, my memories go back such a long way before they were married, and my fond memory of, although she's only a few years older than me, I used to think of Eunice being so much older because I was the youngest of 4 sons, and the thing I remember about Eunice, she used to come and we often had card games, and I was, she used to enjoy playing, I suppose it might have been canasta or sevens and all those other different types of games. And so it was, and being the young brother, so you knew your place, but it was really, but it was really fun. We used to have a lot of great time, and I remember Thackeray Street because Eunice and Ian lived in, was it 49 or 61? 49. And in 61, my third brother, Alec, he and Shirley, they lived just around the corner. And so with Mum and Dad, we used to go visiting them in the days when they were living in Thackeray Street. And it was good to hear mention of 217 Tinnicorri Road, because I remember going to that place. It's not there now because of the roadworks. That's right. But it was lovely memories. I used to I was working in Dixon Street, and I used to sometimes, before I went back to Lower Hutt, I would pop round to Ian and Eunice's place in Tinnicorri Road, and we had tea, and it was nice to catch up with them. All those back in the 50s, that was, makes me feel ancient, but I'm very kind,
But the title of favourite niece.
That's right. But although this niece isn't possibly very happy with my wife and myself, because we were married in Australia, in Wollongong, a great town that was, and so for poor Katrina, she didn't see her mother for a while because. Do you remember that? And
yes, that's why I'm such a bad daughter. Karitani nurse because of your wedding.
and so I remember you often were saying how tough it was that she was looked after by someone else. Because Glenn came across, and then Denise was the flower girl, weren't she, all those years ago, and that's that wedding in Wollongong. And so that's a lovely memory for us that Ian and Eunice were able to spend some time, even though might have left their lovely daughter behind. But that was great that they could. That's right. Life is tough, isn't it? That's right. But anyway, so that's fond memories. But as I say, my particular memory is that when she came round to Hatana Street, where we saw her often at Mum and Dad's place, where my brothers and myself lived, and it was great though. We used to have, as I say, it was one of the great things all those many years ago, people being entertained again. Well, of course, you didn't have television, and so that was one of the great things. And I could also remember going up to Dawn Grove. That was a nice place. You had up there, Dawn Grove. It was nice there. And when our boys were all growing up, we visited there quite often. I remember possibly we saw more of them in those early days when the boys were smaller. And then as we all get older and people go to hither and yon. But it's great on a beautiful day like this that we can celebrate Eunice's, life in this place, and it's good to see a variety, and for us to see some of the other relations. one separated by marriage, which is marvellous. And I think eldest son Nigel, who is now working in up in Brisbane way, and all being well, if the system works, he'll be watching this. That's right. So.
He actually sent a message to make sure we're talking to the microphone so we could.
Oh gosh! Well, I better watch that. And having worked in broadcasting, I should know to look into microphone. But anyway, it's marvellous that we have these facilities that families just like some of the ones of Eunice's family overseas are able to share with us. I think that's one of the marvellous things, whereas before it was something just to hear the voices, but now to actually physically see, I think that is marvellous that the family can all enjoy it. So my condolences to all the immediate family. We've enjoyed being part of this wider family, and we give you our best wishes, and hopefully this part of the family will still be keeping around for a while. So, but as I say, but it's a lovely photograph of Eunice. You know, it's a beautiful one as we remember. So it's a joy to have been here and catch up with one and all. Thank you.
Sorry, I was only going to take 2 secs. But yeah, great memories of Uncle Ian and Auntie Eunice up on the hill in Dawn Grove. Always, one thing we've really found fascinating was, or actually just discovering today, that Auntie Eunice was a petrol head. You know, I thought, you know, it's always in places like this you find out about that dark horse in the family. You know, just like things that they come up with, and they do. But I have to admit, the Rover, that was an awesome car. I was really fascinated at the age of, I think it must have been about 8 or something like that, 6 or 8, how it had power windows, you know, electric windows. First car I'd ever seen with electric windows. And that must have been probably one of the first ones in the neighbourhood that had it. And, but going up and visiting them up in Dawn Grove, and they were the only aunt and uncle that we really associated with, because, well, Uncle Jim was, I forget where he was, Nongataha or somewhere up around there. Alec in Dargaville or something like that. So we never really saw the other cousins, but we did get up to Dawn Grove, and we got to meet this this direct side of the family a lot. But also Auntie Eunice taught us about mixes, and probably started off with like we were young, so it's just like, you know, when you mix Sprite with Just Juice. That was the introduction to great things. So we'll go no further there. But I am a teetotaler, yes, but I don't drink tea. But no, we had really great times. And when they came down and visited us at 92 Park Road, where Mum and Dad are still living there and have been for 53 years, I'll always remember the time, and it's on the number 8, the number 8 film reels. I remember there's one there where Uncle Ian, I think, drove over the top of Stu in the go-kart. So yeah, he decided he wanted to come down, and they come down to visit, and because we're on a hill, we had the trolley go-kart with strings on the front end, and he was zigzagging it down the hill, down the backyard, and yeah, I think Stu copped it. But yeah, probably could be something in that. But there you go. But hey, great times, great memories, and it's awesome that we can remember them all. And Nigel, who's in Brisbane, he really enjoyed those times that we were able to spend being with them up there in Upper Hutt.
Thanks, guys. Okay, you guys. Got any more takers? Can you have a PS? Of course you can. I thought you were going to say, can I have a P? Yeah. Come on, please. Say it. There you are. Oh, okay. Stop crossing. Favourite can say what she likes. I know, she'll do what she likes.
Just a little add-on I forgot to say about the cards. As I say, I went to Eunice's 90th birthday, and the last Christmas card I got would have been her 91st Christmas. So I got a Christmas card, just before Christmas, of her 91st Christmas. And inside it was this, I kid you not, about this size card. And it was inside the Christmas card, and it was a thank you for her 90th gift that I'd given her. She was only 11 months late, but that's all right. She obviously couldn't figure out how to post this little thing, so it obviously sat around. She stuck it inside the Christmas card. And anyway, I'd like to make a public offer to Aunt Leanne. We just worked out we're the only girl nieces. Well, not girl nephews, obviously. So we come to a compromise. You're the favourite one from Upper Hutt, and I'm the favourite one from Napier.
You can still be the second. Yes, we are.
You guys are weirdos. That's all I can say about that.
We are compromised. One end, the other end.
I got so much to say, and I'm gonna not say that much. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I've got to say these three thank yous that are just incredibly important to us as a family. And first up for Biddy, what an incredible lady friend you have been to Mum. I always thought, what the hell are you getting your hair done again? She'd say, how does my hair look? Like it has for 50 years. I don't know why you're getting your hair done again. Then I went up to pick up Mum from Biddy's garage one Christmas, and they were all having shots. There was a bucket full of shots. Biddy gave me a shot. I was like, I love you too. I see what you mean, Mum. But when Mum couldn't go there, and Biddy would come down and do her hair and make her lunch and sit and hang around. You didn't do that for us, but we thank you. And I want to thank the other Katrina. So Katrina Sortel, she was always KS in Mum's phone, and she would say, KS is here doing the garden, or KS has dropped around a meal. Their friendship, I think, started when Mum got her shoulders done, and Katrina was the boss nurse down at Brett Krause's orthopaedic office. So she was just this big sister to me. Yeah. But she just picked up Mum, looked after her, got her to the front of the queue, got her a cup of tea and a magazine and whatever. They connected. So there's so many things I could say, Katrina, but I know you didn't do any of it for us. But when I got messages when I was away, it's all good, KS is here, I knew I could be away from Kapiti and in such a different context. So the thank you, I know it's not for us, but I know you need to know how much we appreciate it. And then my mate Susan. My mate Susan's been an absolute treasure. When Susan was little, you've heard about Dawn Grove, so everybody would come to our house and the lawn would be full. At 5 to 5, Mum would put on her lipstick because she needed to look beautiful for Dad, and she'd shoo all the kids away, but Susan could stay. And Susan and I would go, you were definitely the favourite, like hands down the favourite. We would go into the lounge. We had a little table set up, and Susan and I in the lounge, because too many kids, we didn't all fit round the dinner table if Susan stayed over. But then, since Dad's passed, Susan's come down with a little picnic basket for lunch for my mum, with magazines, sit and talk about royalty, sit and talk about gardens and family and things that matter. And, I'd get my nose out of joint. Why is my friend visiting my mother? Visit me. Thank you. Thank you for that love that you've wrapped around our family. That's awesome. So many thank yous in my heart for people that, I look around the room, Shirley, Joe, my God, looked after my mum for me in my office world. Everybody that's here has given her flowers, food, kindness. Yeah, you're not the favourite anymore. But I'm going to stop saying thank you. Just know from my sisters and my brother, Bupa, where she's lived the last 6 months, the Access people before that, everybody, we thank you. Yeah, from the bottom of our hearts. We've got a little slideshow to play of Mum. The music on here is Que Sera Sera, which Mum used to sing to us. Edelweiss, which Mum and Dad used to sing to us. And Moon River. I just remember my mum and dad waltzing to Moon River. So yeah, enjoy some photos. You're probably all in them. I hope you are. Yeah.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Que sera, sera.
Every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Moon sing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River, and me. Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after that same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River, and
Hey, oh my goodness. Mum lived 93 years. From the era of ration cards and gifts from American soldiers at Trentham. They used to bring oranges and stockings to the people, you know, in the late 30s, early 40s. She went to dances in the 40s. She got married. She had 6 kids. She partied. She always had a party. She had her big 80th, her big 90th. I've definitely got my partying from my mother. She supported all of the grandchildren physically and financially. Like she went there. She went down south, didn't she? And I can remember as a teenager her packing these suitcases to go down to Fiona's, and they were full of food and toys and random shit. And I was like, what's that about? And then I was a mother, and I was like, yeah, that's about all the stuff that I want and need. And right up until the last month, she's been winning the quizzes at Winara. She's been going to church. She's made new friends, There's people coming in as I was cleaning her room out, and they had tears and said, we loved your mother. She taught us stuff. And we watched her learn stuff in the last 6 months of her life. It just feels such an honour to be one of 6 children. Thank you for making 6 children. Busy, noisy life, and I know we're all just, my sisters and my brother, we all know about gratitude, and we all know how to appreciate the little things. It's deep in us. Flowers, cats, ice cream at the beach. Lifelong friends. We know about people that we've known as long as we've known them, and they're still amongst, and our mum brought all of that to us. We're going to take her out now. This is the last chauffeur drive for my mum. We've all chauffeured it around since the last decade. This is their last time, but this is her song. This is Mum's song. What a Wonderful World. That's why we wrote the lyrics in there. So anytime you pick up that service sheet, read those lyrics, man. That's how she felt about the world. That's my mum. Thank you, Mum. Thank you, everyone. How are we going to do this, brother?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you.